doing? Happy Tuesday. I almost said happy Monday. It feels like a Monday to me. I hope everybody is having a good one. If you do hear any noise in the background, my kiddo is home sick today because his stomach was hurting. So, how is everybody? Lindsay, we will talk about all of them. Don't worry. How are you guys? I hope everybody had a good weekend, and hopefully you guys are in a safe space as far as all the weather goes, because it is insane out here. So, hey, Ronette. Oh my God, he just had like the most random stomach ache this morning and was like, I'm scared to go to school and throw up in class or something. I was like, stay home. So, hey, Ashley. Well, it keeps changing every time I look at the poll. So it's like, who knows what it will end up being. Obviously, I'm going to let more people get in here and vote before we get into it. Hey, Madeline. Hey, Preston. How are you guys? And hello, Ashley, Billy, Aaron, Plectel. How are you guys? I hope everybody is good. Yes, Zenzi. K-hole can't cry. Hey, oh my God, I know, like, I pronounce... Miss Lee, please tell me once again how to pronounce your name properly. I don't want to mispronounce it again. Hey, Karma. Thank you, Ashley. Right? Ugh. So I'm going to just let everybody know that if I do end up using the cards at all, it's going to be real interesting because I got a big old blister on the inside of my hands. Alasia. Did I say that right? Alasia. So I just always feel horrible when I mispronounce anybody's names. So, hey, Donna. Because, you know, Italian kid over here, I got my name butchered all the time growing up. And then it was even worse when I was married to my ex-husband with his complicated ass Middle Eastern last name. So I don't want other people going through that. So, well, this isn't a Kanye live. This is about the Kardashians, and I also don't do anything that I'm ordered to do. So, you know, there's a way to ask people things politely, guys. Hey, Kay, how are you? Hey, Cindy, how are you, babe? Hey, KLD, I'm glad you made it. So anyways, I was like, geez, we didn't even get a whole 5 minutes in before somebody had to get blocked. What a magical day we're having. Skim still reigns with the best ugly crying face in that family. Is it bad that when she cries I laugh? Well, anyway, I mean, doesn't Courtney always like start laughing at Kim when she starts crying? Like, I think I remember like seeing a clip of that where Courtney said like Kim could be crying because somebody's dying, but the second that she sees Kim's ugly cry face, she just starts laughing at her. So, hey, Sana. You're just more generous. You were, Lindsay. The title says the Kardashians, not Kanye. Listen, I'm going to do some Kanye readings soon, but I think that one can only be done in Patreon because you have to be a member to even understand what we're going to be talking about when it comes to him anyways. So, which by the way, if you guys would like to join us over on Patreon, that's where we have all exclusive content. It is also the only place where I do take requests for any celebrity video readings, and all of or the majority of the suggestions for this week's live, because I also let my Patreons help decide who we're going to talk about on these lives, were Kardashian related. So I was like, let's just do a whole family thing. But what you are not allowed to do on Patreon is come in there and tell me what I'm going to do in there or on any of my platforms, because it's called my platform, not yours. You can do what you want on your own platform. You want to talk about Kanye in your platform? Go right ahead. But I'll talk about who I want to talk about on my platform when I want to do it. So just keep that in mind. Because sometimes people think that they're going to come in and start bossing content creators around. And it's like, well, then you go be a content creator and create the content that you want. And then you see how easy it is. So anyways, hey, Preston, I will see you later, my love. You enjoy your studying and good luck with all of that. So, and Sana, hello if I didn't say hi already. And hi, Kaylin. And hi, Will. You're happy to hear this drag of the Kardashians. Listen, it's going to happen, right? We can't help it. They're just so drag worthy. Well, it's just, I see people constantly going on other creators' platforms, whether it's IG or Threads or Patreon or YouTube or wherever, and people are like, you need to talk about this. You need to do a video on this. And it's like, they don't need to do shit except fucking exist. Like, nobody has to do anything because you want it. Nobody owes you anything. Stop being so fucking entitled, because look at all the duds in the industry that have been acting entitled out here. Where the fuck are their careers? What's going on with Coi Leray? When's the last time anybody gave a shit about her? What about Lotto? She fell on the floor and she can't get back up again. So entitlement don't get anybody anywhere. And you can also talk to people kindly as well, because that's the thing too. It's like they're so fucking rude about it. And it's like, well, if you wanted somebody to do something that you want, wouldn't you, I don't know, get farther if you were actually being nice about it instead of just like ordering people around and being rude? Like, that doesn't make anybody want to do anything. And guess what? I am Italian, so I'm stubborn as fuck. And my whole entire chart is air and fire. So that means I'm even more fucking stubborn. So when people keep pestering me in the comments to do readings on Shawn Mendes, he goes on my never again list. Because not only will I not do it, I'm never doing it now. So they better pick up a pack of tarot cards and get to work themselves, right? Or go bother somebody else, but it ain't me. So duds expecting TikTok to carry music careers, right? And by the way, hello, Vanessa. But they really do. And it's like, there's plenty of people that are big on TikTok that like nobody knows who the fuck that they are on Instagram or YouTube. Like, think about that for a minute. Just because you're hot on one platform doesn't mean that you're fucking hot on every other platform too. So that's why, like, counting on TikTok to carry your career is not going to translate to sales and streams and Spotify numbers and Billboard charts all the time. And that's also why it's ridiculous and stupid for them to rely on that. And again, you should never rely on any one singular platform, because what happens if it goes the way of MySpace or the government decides to shut it down? Then you're fucked anyways. Be a diverse bitch. If y'all haven't learned anything from Dario yet, diversify, diversify, diversify. Which, by the way, if I see one more person perpetuating this mob wife aesthetic, I'm gonna fucking scream. Call it the Jersey girl aesthetic. Call it the East Coast aesthetic. But first of all, stop fucking stereotyping and then appropriating Italians. Like, we've had enough of this. Y'all decided that we were white sometime after World War II and then decided that because you claim that now we're white when we weren't before, that all of a sudden it's okay to appropriate every single thing of ours from our goddesses. Medusa ain't yours, bitch. Stop. To, oh, let's perpetuate the stereotype that all Italians are in the mob. We are fucking not. And if you actually paid attention to anything that these mob wives go through, you wouldn't want to be associated with that in any way, shape, or form. Fuck that noise. I would never want Carmela Soprano's life. You ain't gonna fucking be out here cheating on me with a one-leg bitch, because I will beat you with her fucking fake leg too. Like... and always have the freaking feds in your business and go to jail too and all the shit that they go through. Like, that's not cute. Stop it. It's not funny. So it's annoying as shit. I am so tired of that. Call it the Jersey aesthetic, but stop fucking tying it to Italian Americans. Thank you. There's my rant for today. So... moving on, did you guys know that Sana, and it's just like, they think that like, oh, because they call us white suddenly, when we weren't white for thousands of years according to them, but the last not even, 60 years we're supposedly white all of a sudden. Which, that's why when a lot of people are like, oh, like some Italians don't consider themselves white, myself included, because the fucking government didn't. We weren't allowed to get paperwork. We were so stigmatized against, and this is not to say like, oh, we had it worse than any other culture by any means, but I'm just saying somewhere along the way, because they wanted our votes and our numbers, all of a sudden it's like, oh, well, now you're allowed to be white. And ever since then, it's like everybody thinks that they can stereotype us or take things from our culture and share them with everybody or appropriate them or use them in ways that they're not supposed to, because all of the fucking non-Italian spiritual people who keep teaching people malocchio removal, that's a closed practice. It's not for you, and it's not for everybody to fucking be taught on any fucking given day of the fucking year. So it's just annoying because they do that shit and they do it to every culture, but stop it. It's not yours. Every culture has their own traditions. Every culture has their own goddess and goddesses. You don't need to steal them from anybody else. So hateful people just choose the newest fad to attach their hatefulness to. Sometimes, but you know what? Some of it's just pure ignorance, because people just don't think, and they think like, oh, well, because that's like, Irish, so they're white, so who cares, like, if we're all running around, taking something from them. But at the end of the day, the rule goes for everybody, especially when it comes to co-opting stuff, when it comes to spirituality. We were given those particular deities, whether it's Haitians, Italians, Africans, because they were given to us to rule over and protect our people, our region, our area. So if you're not of that bloodline and you're fucking around with those spirits, you're opening doors to so much shit that you probably don't want in your life. And it's also like not just about like, hey, let's be respectful. It's also protect yourself. I would never go and start practicing hoodoo and expecting that Papa Legba is gonna fucking do something for me. Like, no. And if he kicked my ass, I fucking deserve it. So, but people keep teaching other people this shit or doing this stuff because they don't even stop and think, is this wrong? Or is this okay for me to do? And it's all about chasing a trend, chasing an aesthetic, What's gonna get me viral right now? What's gonna get the most clicks on my shit? But you're leading other people astray when you do stuff like that, because all you want to do is just participate in the newest fad, whether it's the mob wife aesthetic or telling everybody how to go perform malloquial removal in the middle of fucking April, and you're not Italian, and none of the people that you taught how to do that are Italian either. So, let's just try to educate ourselves first and foremost. There is something to be said about bloodlines being more capable of the spiritual responsibilities that come with rituals. Leader of Inipi is usually a chosen descendant who can sense others' safety. Exactly. So, there's reasons for everything. And, it's like, shit, even if you want to be a Satanist, like, you would make sure that you're educating yourself before you start trying to summon fucking demons, right? So it goes for everything. It's just be careful and make sure you know what you're attaching yourself to and getting yourself involved in, and you don't know like who you could possibly be hurting, yourself or others. So moving on. Did you guys know that Kim came out with makeup again? I didn't. The only reason I literally was just catching up on some of Dustin Daly and Nick Snyder's videos this morning while I was getting ready. And I was putting my makeup on, and they were like saying that I guess Kim came back out with her makeup, and like, I don't know, because I guess it was like a clip of like Laura Lee borrowed Manny MUA's PR package that he got so she could review it too, because she didn't get one. And I was like, wait, I didn't hear anything about this. And mind you, I don't follow them. I don't watch their shows. I don't, pay any attention to them if I can help it. But they've also been like Bluetooth and croissant in that you can beg every single blog to never post them ever again, and you're still gonna know so much shit about them against your will, that I thought, especially if Kim was coming back out with the makeup, because Chris was obviously paying all the blogs to post all these clips of the show when they were trying to get everybody interested in the new show. I was like, you would think that for sure, like, I don't know, one of the blogs might have posted this. The only place that I've seen any mention that Kim came out with her makeup again, and I guess it's through the Skin brand, not the KKW, is that little clip in Dustin's video, and he was just making fun of Laura Lee and saying that she was trying to get on the PR list. But they didn't even talk about Kim's makeup. I was like, what the fuck? Well, won't this have her competing with Kylie? They all compete with each other, though. I literally just said that in Patreon like 2 weeks ago. I was like, doesn't nobody find this weird that like Kylie came out with a clothing line, right? And the first drop was all of the plastic fake leather stuff that people said smelled like fish. And then apparently now she's dropping stuff that looks like, because people were saying like, did Kylie just sew Kylie tags onto Skims, because like the latest drop was all leggings and basic long sleeve shirts and seamless baby tees, and it was just like the same shit that they sell under the Skims brands. But then Chloe has a bunch of fake leather pieces with Good American. And then remember when Kylie came out with that swimsuit line that like people said disintegrated when you wore it in the water, like 3 months later, Kim came out with a swimsuit line through Skims. And I mean, you know, she did start the original makeup line and skincare after Kylie originally did those. And it's just like, first of all, nobody in this family has ideas for any other businesses. It's just, oh, I want to start a business, so I'm going to do the exact same thing my sister was doing. Secondly, I don't know, that's just weird because I was saying if this was any other family, people would be pointing that out and being like, that's crazy. Like, say that Brandy had a skincare line and then a year later Ray J comes out with one. Everybody be like, Ray J is such a fucking piece of shit that he's copying his sister. But nobody says anything when it's the K clan. And I'm like, why does nobody else think this is weird? It's weird. So, but thigh makeup would seriously be a good market to go for. It's what all the models and drag queens use to have those Barbie legs. Didn't she have body makeup in the first line? And listen, the weirdest fucking thing too that I have seen that Kim came out with was freaking Spanx leggings to wear under your regular leggings. Why did you just come out with leggings that snatch you, girl? Or are you also telling us that your underwear that you claim snatches people doesn't snatch people, or it's way too visible underneath something as tight as leggings? Like, who the fuck wants to wear Spanx leggings under your real leggings? That sounds like I'm gonna suffocate and die. I mean, I was just like, please, you're just making shit up at this point to have something to sell. Like, this is ridiculous. Leggings to wear under your leggings. Like, let that fucking coochie breathe, my God. So, let's start with Kim. What questions do y'all got about Kim? Hang on one second. So, put question in front of it. Right, Sana? And I mean, are you really? Because it just sounds like this girl comes up with new insecurities for people to have every day. The last thing that you're supposed to give a shit about when you're working out is if your cellulite is showing in the back of your fucking leggings. Like, the only thing that I care about is that if I do a squat, my leggings aren't going to split up the back and that you can't see through them. Other than that, I don't really care. Do you? Who is Kim aiming for now? Well, that's true that it is business, create a problem and the solution for it. But it's just, I mean, my goodness. To me, it's just like, it didn't give me faith in all of her other products. Yes, and if I see one more person, stop making excuses for people that they didn't make themselves, okay? Let's make this the life lesson that we're all going to learn in 2024, right? Whether a guy hasn't called you and he's supposed to be dating you, you're not going to go around and tell everybody, oh, well, he's busy at work if he couldn't even be bothered to tell you out of his own fucking mouth that he's busy at work and that's why he hasn't called you. Same thing goes for Kim and the nipple bras. Stop telling everybody that she designed those for people who've had mastectomies, because never once has she ever advertised it as that, nor was that ever the purpose in designing it. And while people who've had mastectomies might find those useful, that was not the original intent, and y'all are assigning kindness to this person that she does not deserve. So stop. Stop making excuses for these people. They wouldn't piss on you if you were on fire. They don't care about you. They don't like you. All they want is your money. So, okay, hold the questions for a second so that I can get through these. All right. Oh, Pretty Plus Tax TV question. Is Kim really dating Odell Beckham, or was I just something Chris contrived to maintain interest? It's the same thing where supposedly her and Tom Brady were flirting with each other for months, even though Tom Brady's team came out repeatedly and said he wasn't dating her. Chris just says shit, and sells stories to Dumois and Page Six and the Daily Mail and TMZ in order to keep people talking about them and keep Kim's name out there. And also because every last one of these hoes in this family participates in PR relationships. I'm just going to ruin all of the Timothy and Kylie questions now. That is a PR relationship. It is not real. Neither was Kendall Jenner and Bad Bunny. Neither was Kim and Skeets. They're all fake. It's just about keeping their names out there because we know especially when it comes to this family, they don't give a shit if everybody's running around saying that they hate them or if everybody's saying that they love them. As long as their name is trending, that's all that Chris wants. They will still profit and benefit from it some way or another. So if everybody's, Kim's dating this person, then, she's obviously, her name is staying in the headlines, but Odell is not trying to hitch his horse to Kim, especially given the fact that Odell is actually friends with Kanye. So keep that in mind too. Who is Kim aiming for now? What do you mean by that, Plickdol? Did you mean romantically, or which one of her siblings that she's going to try to cancel or copy next? Is she ever going to leave us alone? Will she ever break the shackles of attention seeking? Sana, I'm sorry. No, she won't. We're all going to have to just collectively decide to stop paying attention to them and let them fade into irrelevancy where they belong. Because Kim has no career if she's not getting attention. What the fuck else is Kim going to do? It's not like she's this wonderful actress that can transition to movies or that she can have a new life as a singing career or write novels or do anything because she doesn't have that level of intelligence or creativity within her. She needs the attention. She needs the relevancy. She needs the fame so that she can sell people way overpriced, third-rate products that nobody really fucking needs anyways. You can always find another cheaper dupe online. And so, the girl lives, breathes attention. Spirit saying she literally, if she does not get enough attention, if everybody stopped paying attention to her and she was like, she would die of thirst. She would literally throw herself off a freaking balcony and break her neck on purpose if she thought that that would give her a second life and attention. Oh my God, Kim's harrowing window fall and how she's recovering, and now she needs a reality show following her as she learns to walk again. She's literally that fucking desperate. She would do that. So she's not going to willingly leave us alone, unfortunately. How does Scum feel about Bianca? She hates her guts. She hates that the kids like Bianca. She hates that Kanye seems happy about Bianca. I don't know if you guys saw, because there was some pictures that went viral sometime in the last week. I think that they went viral for a second, and then Bianca, of course, wore one of her crazy outfits, so that kind of took precedence as far as like the attention goes. But there was a couple pictures. They were at, I think it was one of Saints games, and Kim came over and was trying to talk to Kanye, and you could see that he just really did not give two fucks about having a conversation with her or giving her any attention. He seems like he was grossed out by her, and she seems like she was trying really hard to get his attention. I've told you guys before, Kim really thought that Kanye was going to spend the next 10 years making 808s and heartbreaks part 2 through 20 about her, and that he was going to be on this heartbreak tour and trying to win Kimberly back. And what he did do was pretty half-assed when you think about it, and it was just dragging them, and it wasn't the Kim's amazing and I love her so much. It was more like, fuck that bitch. She's putting my kids on TikTok. Fuck her mom, you know, like that kind of shit that she really didn't think that he was gonna do to the extent that he did. And then he seemed to stop doing it and moved on pretty quick. So it burns her asshole that not only is Kanye not running around still crying about wanting her back, but also that he does seem extremely happy with Bianca, that the kids come home and tell her that their dad is happy, and that the kids like her. So it's burning her up. Burning her butt. Is scum punching the air every time she reads Yee's IG caption? Yes. Someone said Ye scrapped the album to become a Bianca fan page. Well, listen, Kanye never posted Kim like that either. And that's also driving her insane. Insane. He very rarely ever posted a picture of Kim. And if he did, it was like, you know, Yeezy season 4 sandals dropping next Monday, and she'd be like wearing something that he designs. And it was more so like, oh, he was posting the outfit, not necessarily really her. So that's driving her insane. Who's the acting mojo? Did KK still like Ursula to be able to act in AHS? Well, I don't watch that show. Honestly, like the only show that I really watch right now is Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, and that's just because Dario wanted me to watch it with him this season so we can talk about it. So I'm not really sure like what, you know, is what happened with that show and if she did a good job or not, but I do know that what I saw people saying was that basically the character that she was playing was like the Kris Jenner character, so that they were like, oh, that should be easy for her because all she has to basically do is just channel her mom. So I don't know if that's true or not. You guys can let me know if you watched it. Just waiting for the Swifties to drag Kim when Taylor releases her next album. She's already priming them up for it. Yes, she is. And once again, guys, once again, let me tell you, here's the prime moment for those of you who are invested in Let's Get Mucus to beef with Taylor Swift. That's Meg the Stallion for those who maybe knew and didn't know that we call her Mucus. She's trying to steal Taylor's Snake era right before Taylor comes back with Reputation. And remember, she was talking to Travis Kelce first. So there's definitely more shit that you guys can like stir the pot with. So get to it. But let me just pull some cards real quick and see what Spirit has to say about how things are going to be once Taylor, you know, comes back with the Reputation era again. And how the reception will be towards Kimberly and co this time around. She was mid. would not expect great acting from her. Whatever happened to her being a lawyer? Has there been any updated information on that? Is she still going to school for it? What's going on? Because I don't know. It's just a little odd that the second that Joe Biden took office, we've never heard anything more about Kim's prison reform. And I know that she had a podcast about it and that got canceled. So, which by the way, just for everybody who, you know, I know that, and this isn't me defending Harry and Meghan because I don't care about anybody enough to defend them other than Kanye or Michael Jackson. But, everybody was talking about how Harry and Meghan's podcast got canceled by Spotify, but they failed to mention that Kim's also did. So they were definitely, because, you know, during the pandemic when you couldn't film stuff, independent content creation was where it was at. So a lot of people got signed, you know, to have podcasts and things like that. And then post-pandemic, people got to go outside again or watch their favorite shows again because they got back to filming, and then people just didn't care so much. So a lot of those types of deals where people got these, you know, podcasts and stuff like that ended up getting canceled. It wasn't just them, but Kimberly was a part of that. So let's just, you know, remind everybody. Okay, the first thing that's coming up in the underlying energy is Taylor has really done her work, her magic. Not kidding, because the magic card comes up right next to the Ace of Cups and the Four of Wands, talking about that she's really, you know, put her foot in it, whether it's spiritually or otherwise, in order to get her fan base so, like, protective and supportive of her. Because listen, I will give Taylor credit for this. There is not a lot of people, there's not a lot of artists that, number one, can really do while releasing new music even, but there's very few artists who actually could go back and re-record every single album that they've ever put out and get their fan bases to repurchase them, and to the point that those new re-records all go platinum too. And then you're able to capitalize even further off of that with all the merch that comes from it and all the different vinyls and everything, and then go on a tour for it. And since she's not done re-recording all of those, and she is going to have other albums coming out, then there's going to be more tours. So Taylor is kind of a fucking genius when it comes to that. I do have to give her credit. And she's definitely done whatever needed to be done to make sure that this fan base of hers is going to support every single thing that she does and really stand up for her this time around. So no more questions right now, guys. I'm looking at Taylor versus Kim. So this is the funny thing, is that Spirit's saying it's like everybody comes back when we revisit this situation, because that's kind of what it is, you know, when we do get to this point, is revisiting the situation again. And people have a fresh set of eyes, you know, when they're looking at it and seeing it from maybe a different perspective than we did during that era, where people were kind of, at first at least, so quick to go take Kanye and Kim's side in that. Now, this time around, a Spirit saying that the narrative changes to where it's like, Taylor was lied to, Taylor was tricked, Kim was behind all of this, and she's gonna, you know, face the wrath once again from all of Taylor's fans. Now, this is the funny thing, guys. Kanye is in a season of forgiveness right now, right? He made up with Kid Cudi. There's a couple other people that he's made amends with that I can't think of off the top of my head right now. And I keep getting that Taylor and Kanye are going to have some sort of a reconciliation before we get to this reputation era. So it's like Spirit saying, you know, Kim ends up being very blindsided by this, and there's going to be conversations between the two of them where it does kind of point to Kanye wasn't really trying to fuck Taylor over. Everything got kind of twisted and turned once Kim started releasing clips and playing the games that she was playing. And so it's like, oh, Kim, you know, Taylor and Kanye are able to make up and be friends again, and Kim definitely ends up like taking the blame for this, both privately amongst the two of them, as well as I feel like the public really zeroing in on Kim and not really so much Kanye when it comes to this situation, because there is the Ten of Swords and the Tower card here in the position of how Kim ends up feeling, being seen in the aftermath of what she has to deal with this. So kind of it's like the way that everybody ran to go put snakes on Taylor's shit and bully her when that situation happened. It's like Kim's gonna get that times a million. So I want, listen, I know this is about to sound fucking crazy. I want Kanye and Taylor to make a song together, because that would break the motherfucking internet. And Kanye's proven that he can work with like tons of different artists of all different types throughout the years. I mean, him and Rihanna made that song with Paul McCartney. That wasn't like a hip hop or a pop song, obviously. And, you know, he's worked with all these different rock band singer-songwriters over the years and everything. So I want to see him and Taylor make a song together, because I think it would actually sound pretty fucking dope. And it would break the internet. And that would be Kim's worst fucking nightmare. That would be Kim's absolute worst fucking nightmare, is Kanye and Taylor being friends again and making a song together, because then she knows that the Swifties will forgive Kanye, and she's gonna be on that island all alone getting all the shit from them, from the Swifties, I mean. So but guys, please listen, because I'm not taking questions right now. I'm doing a separate reading on this situation. So let's see. What's gonna happen with Kim's new makeup line? Is it gonna do well? They should make a Same Girl Boy Is Mine type of song video, but about an enemy, alluding to Kim being the snake. Oh my God. They should, or some kind of song about like misunderstandings and like getting past them and being cool with each other or something. But that would be funny. And guys, I told you too when the Balenciaga stuff happened that they weren't really canceled. It was fake. Same way that everybody fake canceled Gucci for the blackface sweaters, or Dolce & Gabbana for the slave sandals, the blackface jewelry, the racist, xenophobic ads that ended up getting them their show canceled in Asia. Every single one of these design houses has had some horrible racist history somewhere along the way. And, you know, what ends up happening, everybody gets outraged. Everybody's mad for 5.5 seconds. People are like, I'm gonna burn all of my Balenciaga. And then 6 months later, everybody acts like nothing happens and goes right back to promoting and wearing it and going to the fucking fashion shows and being an ambassador for it again. Because guess what? Michael told us a long fucking time ago, and go back and listen to They Don't Care About Us and watch the prison edition video for that song. When he says that everybody is all the same and that they only see us as products and puppets and slaves, when he calls out the skinheads and then shows all the politicians right afterwards, because he was letting us know they don't have a problem with this kind of stuff because they are all participating in this. They just have to pretend when people start calling stuff out, you know, that, oh, that was bad, well, you're right. They're only doing that because they still want to sell us something. So it's like, oh no, but I have an album coming out, you know, or I have a TV show or a brand or a movie. So I'm going to pretend like I'm upset right along with you guys. And then as soon as it's okay again, I'm going to wear it again. And nobody's gonna cancel Kim for being their ambassador, unfortunately, because people scream cancel, but they don't uphold what cancel culture really is supposed to be about. You know, and I'm not saying cancel culture is a good thing, but what I'm saying is that, you know, like, people go so hard to cancel people that most of the time it really is just bully that person until we find somebody else to bully and move on and be fake outraged by something else. And then that person continues to just do the same bad shit because it's like, well, you just picked on me for a minute on Twitter and then you moved on because you got a new target. Nobody really truly gets canceled in the long run unless you are like a Harvey Weinstein or an Epstein, and those have to be pretty extreme cases for people to truly get really canceled, right? And it's usually not until they're convicted. And someone in the fashion house dies and all these celebrities start wearing the clothes again in support. Exactly. Exactly. You see what time it is, and it's always convenient that somebody in that house dies, right? So, let's see. You know what's funny is that, number one, this makeup brand ain't gonna do shit. It's really not. It's like there is a contractual obligation in place where it's like, I had to come out with this, but I personally was ready to like move on from this as a whole. Like, I was ready to move on from the brand. I was ready to move on from makeup, but I stuck my foot in it, so to speak, by having some sort of contract that it's like, I'm stuck in, I have to fulfill this. Maybe it's the Cody contract. I know at one point, supposedly, her and Kylie were trying to buy back their ownership in Cody, but I haven't seen any updates on whether or not they were actually able to do so. But it is talking about having to put this out and then sort of conceding to where, okay, well, if I do, then it needs to be my aesthetic. I want it to be, you know, the beige. I want it to match all the rest of the shit that I'm doing right now. But it's like, you got to pick the packaging, but basically that was kind of it. I don't see this being super well received. We, of course, will get the typical paid shills that are gonna be like, oh my god, you guys, this is amazing. Which, after all the Morphe shit, everybody should know better than to ever trust the influencers ever again, because look at how much they made Morphe seem like it was like the greatest shit that ever existed. It's trash. And now the whole company is bankrupt, right? So, of course, the sponsored reviews will be wonderful. But once regular people get their hands on it, they're gonna be like, oh, this bitch lied to me. This shit's trash. And there's something here about Kim's gonna end up having to give up on this again for good. Because it's just, she doesn't have the passion for it. She doesn't give a fuck about it anymore. It was a cash grab basically in the beginning because she thought that was what was gonna make her become a billionaire the way that her sister got to, which she didn't realize that, you know, at the same time we were already getting sick of Kylie and her crap by the time Kim came out with her crap, that like people just didn't give a fuck, right? So she was never super invested in it in the first place, but now it's just like, I really don't care anymore. I have other stuff that I feel like is more important and makes me more money. So I do see her just wanting to be done with this altogether. The other thing is that this is going to end up losing money for everybody. It loses money for her. It loses money for the investors. This is not a profitable venture for her in any way, shape, or form. It's like, I have to pour so much money into this to keep up the illusion that it's, you know, a good brand and that people want to buy it. However, I'm not making any of this back. People don't give a fuck about my brand, you know, and what we do sell is not particularly wonderful. So there's definitely a big loss of income when it comes to this. But overall, give it a year or two and then it's just going to fall by the wayside again. And then he'll just quietly go away and we'll never hear more about it. And it'll just be, look at Skims, look at Skims, look at Skims, or whatever brand that she wants to shove down our throats. So not a surprise there. All right, guys, let's move on to Kylie. What questions do you have about her? Because, you know, we got to talk about all these people and we have a limited amount of time that I can be on here because I do have a sick child. Plus I got clients I also have to call. Hey, Ronnie. I know, I always hear good things about Rare Beauty. You miss Morphe just for the brushes though. Don't they still sell it though? I thought they just, they got bought out and they're just not like doing the influencer collabs and stuff anymore. Can she leave the color beige alone? What did beige ever do to her? She doesn't even look that good in beige. Yeah, guys, write question in front of your question, please. Well, that's the thing. Somebody did Kim's colors. I don't know if you guys have seen that they have all those videos like where people go to Korea and get their colors done and they'll tell you like, you're a winter and you should wear these colors, you know, or you're a spring, so pastels look really good on you. Somebody did Kim's colors on some video that I saw a while back and they were like I guess like based off of like her undertones and her natural hair color and all that, that like beiges and neutrals were like the least recommended colors that she should be wearing. She should be wearing more bright colors. So that was just so funny because I'm like, how does somebody like straight up say like, this is my aesthetic, and then like everybody's like, but that's not the colors that look good on you. It was Kanye. I mean, that's the thing though, is that she you know, like everything was copied from Kanye. And she wouldn't have all these, like, she wouldn't even be a Balenciaga ambassador if it wasn't for Kanye. That whole family would not be at the freaking Met Gala if it wasn't for Kanye. But we know that Kim loves to steal from black people and claim it as her own. Remember the fucking braids? Oh my God. So let's see. Why is Kylie breaking away from her family? Spirit said Kylie's always been like that, though. Like, she's always prioritized, like, her friends and being outside of the house. Like, Spirit's reminding us that Kylie was the one that was, like, so desperate to, like, move out of the house, you know, as soon as she turned 18. Like, she wanted to buy her own house, she wanted to get out of there. Like, Spirit said that she's just always felt like, even, you know, as much as, like, I like some of my family members and I get along with them and stuff, like, I also want my own life. Like, she wasn't going to be Chloe, you know, who's just living her life according to what Kim and Chris think that she should be doing. Like, no, I have to have my own life. I'll come hang out with you when I feel like it, and then I'm gonna go back and do my own thing afterwards. So, I mean, she's a Leo, right? And then hold the questions, guys. Let me just get through these. Because it's like, as much as she may not seem like it, she does have more independence from the rest of them than some of the other siblings do. Let me see. What is Kylie's next move in business? Spirit said she's bored with Kylie Cosmetics also. I mean, this is the thing. I don't even know why either her or Kim would want any ownership back of either of their brands, because neither one of them is all that interested in their makeup brands anymore. Like, it bores them. They don't have the same passion for it. Kylie literally just, you know, uses it as like an opportunity to have more photo shoots. Like, oh, we have to have a photo shoot because we came out with a new pink lip gloss for spring. And it's just an excuse for her to dress up in a pink dress and have a bunch of pictures taken of her to promote it. But it's like, Spirit saying, you know, neither one of them is like the most creative people anyways. But they also just don't have the passion for it. But it's more of the ego thing of being able to say, oh, well, I own it, or I have this brand that did something that ended up in Ulta or wherever. But I honestly keep getting like Spirit saying is that Kylie really doesn't give a fuck about opening up any more businesses. It's that she, number one, has to, because just because Forbes claims that you're a billionaire does not mean you actually are, or that you have billions of dollars at your disposal. And Spirit's saying that this goes for the whole entire family, basically, except maybe Courtney to a certain extent. Way more money is spent than is in their bank accounts. Like, I have to pay so much money, you know, to keep just the mansion going, between keeping the lights on and keeping it clean and having landscapers come and take care of the yards on a weekly basis. And then on top of it, you have your glam team and your kids' tuition for their private schools and all of that stuff. So it's like Spirit's like, they have to constantly have money coming in or the whole house of cards would collapse. But like, Kylie doesn't really have this, oh my God, I'm so passionate about being a business owner and I really want to open more businesses. It's more just like, my mom pushes me, or my team says they have an idea, or I have to come up with some more money because we got bills to pay. And so Spirit's saying that she's really hoping that this fashion line thing is the new big thing for her, so that she doesn't have to scramble and come up with more ideas for more businesses or get dragged into opening more, because she's really bored with all of it. But at the same time, this just reminds me of Courtney fucking complaining all the time about she's mom and her kids are most important and she doesn't care about being famous, and Kim is a snob and all she cares about is this and that. But then Dolce and Gabbana sponsor your wedding. You still live in Calabasas. You make sure that you're front row and you're getting all the pictures taken of you at Travis's concerts. Like, if y'all really didn't give a fuck, you still, even at the whole, oh, you need all this money to keep up the lifestyle. Yeah, the LA lifestyle. They could sell the big mansions in LA, liquidate all the fancy cars, move to, you know, some quiet little place in Idaho or Wyoming or somewhere and live. It's still very privileged, but normal life, and never have to work another day if they don't want to. But they don't. They still want the fame and the fortune. They just want to be lazy about it and they want to complain about it. So, well, that's the thing. I think that, again, you know, I talked about this in Patreon yesterday. It's that the worst thing that can happen for people is when they become so oversaturated and so like shoved in our faces so much that if we get tired of them, and especially if we're not fucking with whatever they're doing when they're being shoved in our faces, we're not giving you a second chance when you come back and say, oh, but I'm doing better now, right? Like I said, like, a lot of people were extremely turned off by Chloe Bailey's over sexualization, and then they didn't like the music that she put out with that first album on top of it. If she comes back next year fully clothed with a whole bunch of music that's amazing, there's still going to be so many people who are going to be like, I don't care anymore. I'm not going to listen to it. I got sick of her a long time ago. So how many more like businesses, when you really think about it, from the K clan are we all gonna buy? Because at some point it's like, you've sold us everything from flat tummy tea and lollipops to credit cards that were predatory to leggings and underwear, like, and hair and this and that. Like, we're tired. And don't y'all have enough money? Doesn't anybody else have a company that we could, you know, support? Because that's just, people are going to have consumer fatigue when it comes to Kylie. And Spirit saying, even if she did try to pop up with any more businesses, she's going to have a really fucking hard time launching them because people are so sick of her and this family. And she would be better off to really try to rebuild and focus on the one business that she has that did have some sort of success, which is Kylie Cosmetics, and stop running around chasing after all these other little businesses that, like, we don't give a fuck about, right? They could get a personality from a horse and ride off into the sunset. Listen, I almost put a horse instead of Kendall on the thumbnail. So, how does Kylie's children feel about her relationship with Timothy? Spirit saying, because it's a fake PR relationship, the kids have not even been around him. And even if they suddenly do drag him and the kids around because they think like, oh, that'll really do something if we see Stormy and Timothy hanging out, it's still, she's gonna tell them, oh, it's just pretend for our show, just play along. Like, and the little one, I mean, he's what, like a year old? Like, I don't think that he even realizes what's going on to care. But I mean, most of these PR relationships like that, it's just like, oh, this is mom's friend. It's for our show, blah, 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 you know, and not, not, here's mommy's new boyfriend. How does Kylie feel about the Cillian Murphy comparison? Spirit said that it hurt her feelings. I mean, I guess you can't blame her. That is sad though, like when you think about it, because there's a meme that's going around that's like, imagine you get all this work done on your face just for people to say you look like a man in his late 40s. I mean, it was very true, but that would probably hurt everybody's feelings. But that's also sad. Like, you went and did all of that, and this was the outcome. Spirit said she has gone and had a couple consultations, but the thing is that the doctors have told her, you know, either that she shouldn't touch her face anymore, or they haven't been able to guarantee like results that she would like, that also can be somewhat also like, I don't know how you would say it, subtle, because it's like, okay, like, she doesn't want to go get work done to try to, you know, reverse some of the things that she's done, and then it's very obvious to people and everybody's like, Kylie fucked with her face again, right? And Spirit saying that some of this stuff that maybe we might assume is like typical regular fillers that you or I might get if we went to a med spa, and regular Botox is actually permanent procedures, like fat transfers on the face. So it's not like, just don't get any fillers for a couple years and it'll go away. It's like, no, because it's actual real fat. Like, they would have to go do like a full reconstruction to get that out, and it's much more complicated than, like, you know, we think it would be. And that's why she continues to walk around like she has. Somebody needs to tell Chloe that she needs to leave herself alone. How many times a day does Timothy get a brain aneurysm and lose brain cells listening to Kardashians eat salad and talk? Listen, what's his face? Bad Bunny had one up on Timothy, because at least for Timothy, I mean, at least for Bad Bunny, it's like, you know, he always said that his English wasn't the best. So he probably could just easily tune it out, and it's like, well, I don't understand whatever the hell you guys are saying anyways. Whereas poor Timothy actually does understand them. I mean, that's why I said Corey must be getting paid a hell of a fucking lot over there. Kendall has the personality of a paper bag, and that's offensive to the bag. A few more people are going to compare her to the cat lady instead. I've already seen those comparisons. That demon mama definitely did a number on all these kids. I mean, that's the thing though. Kylie, like, other than the lips, she wasn't an horribly unattractive person. She just didn't have any lips. And it's like, she could have just gotten her lips done and left the rest of herself alone. And that's really what's so sad about it. But if you guys really want to see people be really fucking mean to them and you laugh your ass off, go to the Kardashian snark Reddit or subreddit on Reddit. I mean, they call her Kylie Longbottom. The things, the way that they drag them over there is really freaking hilarious. Well, see, Lindsay, that's why I was like, Bad Bunny was probably just sitting there singing songs in Spanish in his head, being like, I don't know what's going on right now, but I'm going to just tune these people out and daydream a little bit. Whereas poor Timothy, it's like, it's harder to tune everybody out when you understand what they're saying. So let's move on to Courtney. What do y'all want to know about Courtney? Put your questions in the comments. Put question in front of it. But I'm just saying, everybody that I've seen that gets like Botox done on their face really young, or they get like those ponytail facelifts really young, they end up looking older and like really fast and within just like a couple years too. Because if you watch Lori Hill, or you follow like Sergeant Made Curves, or IG Famous by Dana on Instagram, like they were all reporting that Kim had, what do they call it, the ponytail facelift, you know, where it's supposed to like make you look snatched like you do when you have like the tight ponytail, and it just kind of pulls everything up during the pandemic. And the crazy thing is that like ever since then, that's when everybody started talking about how Kim is suddenly aged a lot. I was just like, oh my God, that's so sad that like you literally got a whole facelift only for like the next year everybody to start talking about how now you look really old. Like that was obviously the opposite of what she was hoping to happen with that. So, and there's a lot of doctors out there, guys, that say, I'm not a doctor, so I'm not saying this is true or not. I've just seen a lot of it, that you don't need preventative Botox and that it's not going to do anything for you except train your face to need it later. Okay. Did y'all see Travis's ex-wife's interview that she did? Where she talked about well, she basically blamed Kim for her divorce and doubled down on that Kim is or that Travis and Kim definitely hooked up. I told you guys before, they definitely did. You know, neither one of them is going to admit it, obviously, because then that makes him look horrible, because it's like, you hooked up with your wife's sister, you know, even though it might have been 20 years ago, it's still fucking weird. And Kim just looks like the big old hoe that she is, so I'm pulling cards on their relationship right now, Travis and Courtney, since you guys have a bunch of questions on that. But it's just crazy how many people, you know, I see people constantly talking about narcissists and love bombing. And then when it comes to Travis and Courtney, it's impossible for that to be happening with her. I'm like, really? You guys are watching a narc love bomb go off right in front of your eyes, and y'all are thinking that that's the fairy tale, but then you want to say everybody else is a narc getting love bombed? Okay. You can still find episodes of Travis and Shayna's show from MTV on YouTube. I highly suggest you go watch a couple of those and see all the true romance references and the way he buys her red roses and basically does the same things for Shanna the way that he does them for Courtney. And again, like I've said before, if I dated somebody and it was readily available for me to see that you did all of the same things for your ex, find some new shit to do for me. Do not recycle the movies, the songs, all the romantic things that you did with your ex and think that I'm just gonna step into her shoes. And it's just weird. So, but Courtney is so desperate to prove everybody wrong that she's gonna overlook it. So, oh boy. I mean, he's definitely, it's showing up that he is very emotionally manipulative. Like, he knows how to emotionally manipulate Courtney. He knows how to make it seem like, I love you so much and we're just the best couple in the world, while he's simultaneously benefiting from this relationship, punishing the ex-wife, and there is something about, we're gonna see more and more that he has separated Courtney from the rest of the family. I mean, I'm telling you guys, it's all textbook narc stuff. It's crazy. Because, you know, we've got the Magician and the Moon card talking about how you present yourself is different from who you actually truly are inside. There's a very hidden side to this man that he tries to keep inside, and it's not so pretty. We've got him benefiting financially from being with Courtney, you know, because he gets to be on the show. And I'm telling you guys, their little wedding special didn't do what it was supposed to do as far as numbers go. If that thing had blown up, because I know they had their own little spinoff on the wedding or whatever, if that had blown up the way that he was hoping, then him and Courtney would have gotten their own spin-off show following them and the kids. And I do see that is something that the two of them are still working on. However, Hulu isn't happy with the numbers that the family in general has brought in. So they're not you know, so quick the way that E was to constantly give them all these spin-offs and things like that. Hulu's not quick to jump to do that. It's like, let's see how excited people are for the next season, and then we'll revisit that later on. But he definitely, I mean, Courtney is showing up from Travis's perspective as the queen of coins, that he financially benefits from being with her because there's all this renewed attention on Travis. Because think about it, if him and Blink 182 like had a reunion and he wasn't dating Courtney, do you know who would know that Blink 182 was having a reunion and who would go to that reunion tour? Blink 182 fans and nobody else. And I am the girl that skipped going to my high school prom and went to a Blink 182 concert. And I wouldn't have known the Blink 182 got back together and went on another tour together. Just saying. Because you would still have to actively be a very huge Blink 182 fan. This gets him back out into the mainstream again, because look at how many people are talking about Travis that wouldn't have gave two fucks about what he was doing otherwise. And he's also trying to launch his kids into their own careers as well, because it is talking about, with this Knight here and the World card, you know, it's about trying to launch his own children, trying to help them get that visibility, trying to get them started in their own careers as well. And I mean, he shows up as this King of Cups. However, the Ace of Cups is in reversed, with the Knight of Coins flanking him on the other side in the upright position, talking about this is much less about the love that we think it is, and more for him, it benefits me financially to be in this relationship. Courtney is the Eight of Swords right now. She's blinded to what is happening. She is being separated from her family and from what she's used to in order for him to kind of get her by herself and be able to hold on and keep this relationship and the momentum going. However, dropped that card. Let's see. Spirit, what is their current status of their relationship? What is Courtney feeling? Thank you. Spirit wanted me to read their energy separately, so that's why I was grabbing my other deck. Courtney's very much trying to turn this into the fairy tale that she wanted it to be. Like, and that's, again, that's how narcs get you, because they find out, what if you always wanted and you've never had? You've always wanted somebody who's just going to absolutely adore you and put you on a pedestal and treat you like you're the queen of the world, especially when your past baby daddy didn't do that and you have all these issues with your own family. So I'm going to show up. I'm going to make myself seem like this knight in shining armor who wants to give you this family that you've never had, you know, and because Courtney went so hard on pushing that narrative and shoving it down people's throats and thinking that she finally did have her fairy tale and her dream come true. Now it's like, okay, well, the mask is slipping and I'm starting to see that maybe it wasn't the way that I thought it was. And this guy does get on my nerves sometimes, and we do argue a lot. And, you know, there are stories that I've heard, and I'm not entirely sure of his motives sometimes, but I'm going to purposely tune that out, pretend like that's not true, because I don't want to believe it, because I want to believe that what I fell for is real. And now she got the baby. It's like I doubled down. I had to have the baby because I want that to come, you know, to be what everybody focuses on. He cheated on her while she was pregnant. It was definitely like groupie types of things, like, because, you know, there was a lot of shows that he went out on that she couldn't go to. So there was definitely cheating that was taking place while he was out. They've argued about it, and somebody has sent her proof, but it was like, don't ever do that again. And let's hope to God it never comes out. Because there's something here about paying somebody to shut the fuck up. Somebody got paid off to be quiet because Courtney doesn't want the truth about her relationship and who he really is coming out. So that means that there's definitely going to be other shit that people that'll have stories and other people that will come out in the future. But for right now, it's like we got that one person to be quiet. There's somebody that he has a regular affair with, though. It's a younger woman. She works for him. Courtney has her suspicions about this person, but it's not confirmed. But this is the thing that Spirit's saying. Remember, I think it might have, did they just do a sit-down interview with Andy Cohen, or did he like do some sort of finale special with them? Because I saw a clip, and I think it was Andy Cohen was like talking to them, and he asked her, because this was like before she got with Travis, and he asked her like, oh, did you leave Scott because of the infidelity, or did you leave him because of the substance issues? And she said, I didn't know about the infidelity until afterwards. And it's like, everybody knew that Scott was cheating on her for years. And Spirit saying that she was always like, I'm not going to go looking for that. And if people start digging, I'm going to tell them, don't. Like, I don't want to, like, entertain that. She's going to do the same thing with Travis. She will do the same thing with Travis. Even though you could literally make out with your fucking assistant right in front of me, and I'm going to act like, oh, she was just checking if you had any cavities with her tongue because that's the best way that she can tell. And now she has to go make him a dentist appointment. Because Courtney doesn't like to disrupt her life. And she doesn't want everybody to win, because there are people in her family that have had conversations with her about not trusting Travis so much and pointing out that she's, you know, sort of isolated even more away from everybody else since she's been with him. But it came from Kim and Chloe, so she just was like, oh, these bitches are haters. They're haters. They're just hating on my fairy tale, my love story. They're mad because Kanye doesn't want Kim anymore and Chloe got cheated on again, so they're projecting. So she didn't listen and just got in a fight with them and tuned it out. But she knows that she can't fully trust Travis because she sees him as the king of wands. Like, you do manipulate and you do lie. I know I've caught you lying. You can lie at times. So none of these girls are any different than each other when you think about it. They're all fucking pick-me's. They're all insecure as hell. They all compete with one another for Chris's attention or to somehow prove something, you know, because they have this devil mom that has triangulated all of them against one another. So therefore, you know, it's no big deal to them to compete with each other. They see that as normal. But look at how all of them, like, have all these crazy issues and can't ever have one single healthy, normal relationship. And they all think that they're better than each other. Courtney thinks that she's better than Kim and Chloe. You know, Chloe and Kim think that they're better than Courtney, and it's just a disaster because it's like, y'all are exactly the same. You're all the same. You just pretend to be different. So, all right, guys, let's move on to Chloe because I got to start wrapping it up. I mean, does anybody even give a fuck about Kendall? I mean, what are we going to do? A reading on with Kendall, her and her horse? That poor horse, if he could get away from her, he'd probably run away. Could you imagine being Kendall's horse? Ugh, how boring for the poor horse. So, but what questions do you guys got about Miss Cloger? Well, I was just really trying to think. I'm like, what the fuck questions would we even have about Kendall? Because she's literally so boring. Like, every, what do you call season, it's like, what's Kendall's storyline? Her horse again? Like, the girl never has anything worthwhile to share with anybody. So all their relationships are business arrangements. They are, even if Chris didn't present a contract, they still are. Because think about it. Well, we're doing Chloe right now, Lindsay. What is Chloe? What questions do you guys have about Chloe? But like, what guy really wants to get caught up in all of that shit? unless you're getting paid to be there, because they're not super attractive anymore. There's not really a whole lot that you're going to gain from being with them. They don't have sparkling personalities. So it's like, what the fuck do you get out of like dating a Kardashian? What's Kendall's favorite book? Oh my God. Probably the Satanic Bible, the whole family's favorite book. And the only one that any of them probably actually read. Is Chloe still putting love spells on trash can? Yes. They're back together, if you guys didn't know that. I mean, well, I don't think they ever broke up really this last time. But, I mean, and I told you guys, Chloe can sit there and cry all she wants about Tristan just doesn't respect me. Well, first of all, girl, I wonder why he doesn't respect you, because he knows that all he has to do is just be like, hey, Chloe, walk it off. Sorry, cheated on you again. Run a lap and you'll feel better. And she's be like, okay. And then that's the end of it. I mean, have you guys ever heard this man talk? Like, he literally just speaks to her in sports metaphors. And she's just like, okay. And it's like, girl, what the fuck is wrong with you? He has no personality. He walks like he's sassy. That one girl said that he has the weirdest penis that she's ever seen in her life. And I still am so like grossed out, but intrigued at the same time, because I'm like, what was so weird about it? And listen, because I know I'm making myself sound like some kind of a pervert right now by saying that I'm like intrigued to find out why Tristan has a weird penis. But the reason why is because why is Chloe so dickmatized by somebody if they have a weird penis? What's wrong with it? Does it like have its own face and have conversations with you? Like, I'm just so like, what is going on there? And why are you dickmatized by somebody with a weird penis? Did anybody ever explain what that was? Like, why she said that or what was weird about it? Wait. Who got caught using drugs and is suspended from playing? Trash can? I don't pay any attention to the NBA, so I was like, wait. But because look, Lindsay, he hasn't kept a fucking job in forever. And I mean, that one freaking video clip went around, it went viral, you know, where Chris was, oh shit, 25 games without pay. Wait, this just happened 3 hours ago. Hold on a second. He was suspended for violating the terms of the anti-drug program for testing positive for ibutimorin and SARM-LGD 4033. What the hell are those? Are those some kind of steroids or something? I've never heard of those things ever. Oh, wait. Hold on. There's a whole article about what is it. Hang on. Well, they're like, oh, Tristan cheated on the NBA drug program thing. Are we surprised? It's trash can. He cheats on everything. Okay, so they're muscle enhancers, so basically like steroids type stuff and a growth hormone. Okay. and he doesn't get paid for any of it either. So the penis sits up and tells you gossip and which color lipstick looks best on you. Say that. Oh, Chloe's definitely desperate. His job is to work out and play. He could just ask Chloe to train him. Chloe with her exercises that she doesn't know anything about. Did you guys see that video of her on Ellen? And Ellen was like, do burpees or this or that, and Chloe didn't even know how to like do any of the exercises, but yet she's, you know, Miss I work out all the time. But you could save the money on the love spells because he ain't going anywhere. Listen, those love spells ain't stopping him from cheating, though. I mean, he's definitely not going to go anywhere, but he's also not going to stop cheating. Yes, oh my God. He was just swinging his arms and his shoulders and his hips when he was rocking through that room. Like, he didn't have a care in the damn world. He was there to swing his hips around and hang out with Corey. But anyways, the reason why he's there is because like that clip that went viral where like when he wasn't playing and they said that he got on that ESPN show and Chris just made a couple calls and Trash Can got that job. And so that's exactly why he hangs out with them, because he knows like nobody's gonna hire him for anything else, especially if the basketball career ends. He doesn't have any other skills or qualities, and he's got bills to pay and a disabled brother to take care of. So he gets the income from showing up on the show, on top of getting, you know, Chris to call in favors for him. So he gets jobs when he needs to work. So he's just using, you know, Chloe because it's easy. And then think about it too. Who took on the responsibility of taking care of Tristan's disabled brother so he doesn't have to? Chloe. Who takes care of the kids? And Trash Can just gets to come in and throw a ball around with them and color and be like, oh, daddy's here to play. Chloe makes his life so fucking easy. So, and he can go out and cheat, and all he has to do is, like I said, come back and tell her a couple sports metaphors and a half-assed I'm sorry, and then he's forgiven and she's back to making him dinner and making doctor's appointments for his brother, and everything's back on track again. Why would he want to walk away from that? He gets to do everything he wants. There are plenty of people out here not interested in falling in love, but they will take a paycheck for acting, right? Tristan Thompson, first of his name, Lord Cheater of the Seven Kingdoms and protector of the realm, the unfazed, the breaker of bonds, and ultimate trash can. Is that like some Game of Thrones type stuff? Well, thank you for catching him up, Sana, because that's about exactly as it goes. Trash Can got suspended for cheating on his drug test. Chloe is still wearing her clown nose and shoes. Courtney is deaf and blind. Bianca is burning Kim's ass, and Kendall is as boring as always, right? That's exactly what it what it is. Are you guys Speaking of people who do the same thing all the time, is everybody excited so that they can listen to Hiss on Friday? The comments that I saw on the blogs that were posting about how you could pre-save, you know, the Stallion's new song Hiss before it drops on Friday, and everybody was just like, so on top of every song that she puts out sounding exactly the same, she's just gonna reuse the same visuals now too. It's just Megan is recycling herself constantly, and that is perfectly well said. And that's just what Sana's comment reminded me of, because somebody else said that this is exactly how the song is gonna go for Hiss. That she talks about her coochie and her ass, throws some shots at Nikki and the haters, talks about how great her coochie and her ass is again, twerks with shorts shoved all the way up her ass, sticks her tongue out, real hot girl shit, said some more shit about how her pussy and her ass is the best, hot girl shit, end of song. I was like, it's exactly like, that is exactly how all of her songs go. That's how all of the dud songs go, basically. But imagine, like, how sad is it as an artist that that's how people describe your music, and what you've been reduced to is that you just put out the same trash that every single time that sounds exactly the same as what every single other person is putting out. I mean, my God, I could never. At least with Nicki and Kanye, as much as people want to shit on them and clown on them and all of that, if you heard that Kanye was in the studio right this second making a song, would you be able to guess exactly what it's going to sound like and what he's going to talk about? No. Same thing with Nicki. You're just going to have to wait and be surprised when it comes out. Because they don't have this formula that they do wash, rinse, repeat every single time. And on top of it, like, we're not, like, that's the thing too. They keep recycling the same shit, but it's like, we don't even support that stuff. Why do you keep giving us the same thing that nobody's supporting? You know, like, where Santa said, and then it charts at number 124. I mean, if it was like charting at number 1, 2, and 4 every time, then I could see where you're like, well, this is what works. I'm just going to keep doing it because I keep hitting number 1s every time I drop a song about my ass. But like, you're not. So why do you keep doing it? Let's all go stream The Person and follow Jada Kingdom on Friday. Let's all do that. We need to show the record labels that we are sick and fucking tired and we want some damn new shit, and we, you know, are bored. We're ready to tear our hair out. We are bored. All the people in the comments defend all these people but never supports anything they do. Exactly. And that's the thing that's crazy, is that you would think that when you look at the comments on like certain blogs or on Twitter, for example, you would think that like Megan Thee Stallion or Lotto are like the greatest rappers and everybody just loves them and they can't do anything wrong in anybody's eyes. And then the song comes out and it doesn't even hit the bubbling under charts. And it's like, well, where the fuck did all that support for you go the second that you have something to drop? And it is, like Pictel said, it's because those comments are bots. They are totally bots. But the funny thing is, again, you know, and I'm just saying this because You know, Sana mentioned Taylor Swift. It's like, I don't really see the Swifties like fighting people in the comments on stuff. But again, Taylor can come out and be like, I recorded my 12,000th version of my first hit single, and her fans will go and snatch that shit up with the fucking quickness, and it will hit the top 10 on Billboard next week. And on top of it, she'll end up getting nominated for a Grammy that she probably already won a Grammy for that song the first time she released it. So, you know, it's like, just because there's comments on blogs, that does not translate to real life. Look at all the comments on the blogs that were claiming that Nicki was gonna flop. Mind you, she had the highest selling album of the year before the album even came out. So don't fall for the bots and the bullshit on the blogs. Jada is really, really pretty. Yeah, Jada does sound good too. Oh, Sana, I was talking about that earlier before you came in, or maybe when you were dozing off. I was saying for the people who wanted, you know, to stir up some shit between Mucus and Taylor, Megan is just copying Taylor's snake era aesthetic. She's copying the Reputation era. She's trying to start shit. Point this out, guys. Everybody needs to realize what's going on. So, in real life, everyone I know is a barb. Listen, where I live right outside of the Bay Area, in what they call the Bay Area Peninsula, between Sacramento and the Bay Area. I cannot go down a somewhat busy street or even to a gas station. You will hear people play Kanye everywhere that I go. Like, there's never a day that I leave my house and actually go out and mingle in the public that I don't hear somebody somewhere listening to a Kanye song, whether it's from the Jesus is King album or Graduation or something more recent. Like, people can scream and cry all they want that he's canceled on the internet, but in real life, people still fucking listen to Kanye. And as I've said, for some odd reason, I never hear Snoop Dogg being played. My whole entire life in California, I have never randomly heard anybody play Snoop anywhere, at a get together, a cookout, hanging out in a park, at a party, anything. It's so weird because people act like he's just representative of California, and I'm like, but I hear more people listen to Kanye. I hear a lot of Dr. Dre and NWA, Ice Cube, Bone Thugs, but like I really like don't hear like very much of Snoop. Tupac, oh my god, Tupac all the time. I hate the song California Love because it got played so fucking much constantly living here. So I'm just like sick of it for life, although I love every other Tupac song. But oh, and I'm glad that you made it in, and I hope you have a great one. Snoop Culture Vulture now wants to do Mexican music. Yeah, it's just weird because it's just like, you would have just thought, you know, like, oh, I mean, I hear people constantly listening to Too Short. So it's just weird. It's just something that I realized like a couple weeks ago because one of my neighbors was like blasting like Too Short while it was cleaning out his car, and I was just like, it was weird. I never hear people blasting Snoop Dogg. And then I started thinking about it. I was like, I've never heard a Snoop Dogg song that I can remember hearing at any wedding, party, cookout, anywhere. But we're very proud of the artists that come from California, especially from like if you have ones that come from your part, because like people fucking love Too Short, where I live and stuff. But I mean, there's a lot of people that they're always like, oh, Sweetie's from where I'm from, or she went to high school where I went to high school and stuff. I mean, if we're like claiming Sweetie, but like nobody really talks about like Snoop Dogg, it just is kind of weird. So Snoop did it all. He was even in a Bollywood movie. I know he did some songs with one of my favorite Persian artists, Arash. So I think Snoop reached out to a variety of audiences. He did. So oh, thank you, Unati. I do a lot to be able to talk about these people and the things that I do. But trust me, I expose way darker shit over in my Patreon, patreon.com/psychicbellalove. That's where we talk about the truth about history, religion, the Illuminati. And it's the only place that I take requests for any celebrity readings. Also, if you want to book your own personal private reading, psychicbellalove.com. And I did do the Harry and Meghan relationship reading. It's on my second channel, Psychic Bella Love Podcast. I also have it pinned on the community tab. I know somebody said that they like had a hard time finding it and they were like, is it public? But I put it on my second page. That's why it wasn't showing up on this one. Because I honestly was just kind of playing around with some tarot cards and I wasn't planning on doing the reading right then. And then I was like, well, let me just record in case anything interesting comes up. And then it turned into doing the whole reading. So, no, I mean, we remember Snoop. I was just saying it's just weird because, California, like people love to claim stuff. Like people run around being like, I'm from Stockton. That's where Prison Bay is from. Or I've heard people be claiming like Scott Peterson or like other murderers that we've had. And it's like, but people don't go really hard about like, oh, Snoop Dogg this, Snoop Dogg that, the same way that they do with just other artists, like Too Short and E40, Mac Dre, all of them. So I just think it was, weird. Oh, thank you for linking that, Lindsay. I appreciate that. But we know who he is, obviously. You lived in Morgan Hill and saw MC Hammer in Trader Joe's. It was weird. It's so funny. I mean, so many people, if you're in like San Jose, Tracy, Morgan Hill area, like so many people have seen him. And then there's like a bunch of retired 49ers players and Raiders players that live in that area still too. I live somewhat in that area. Not as nice as Morgan Hill, I wish, but somewhat close to that. We have a couple retired NFL players in my condo complex. Actually, both of them, two of them, there's three actually total. It was like now that I thought about it, but two of the three feed the cats with me, and one of them is the guy that told me all the tools I needed to get for my own house, for those that were in Patreon and remembered that. That's why I love old men, like not in a gross like sexual way, just because like my neighbor, like I just asked him how it was going because he's like getting renovations done on his place, and he's like, come here, let me show you something, and like started showing me all these things that I needed to be aware of in case like, I don't know, I guess like you would know if your house was like flooding behind the wall or something, and then was like do you have a screwdriver like this? And then gave me a list of all these tools that I needed to have in my house and told me how to like pick a contractor if I ever need one. And I was like, well, I rent, but thank you. I did order something. He told me to get a power screwdriver. I did order it. It's on the way. But I love stuff like that. I don't know. It just reminded me of my grandpa. So I was like, just loving it. But he's nice and he always helps me with stuff. Like, honestly, if I ever had to run somewhere in this complex for somebody to help me with something, I'd be straight at his door. So, none of these white people over here. Lindsay. Your kitten farted and made you think of the Ice Spice dish. Oh my god, that is so cute. That is so cute. Well, before I go, I have to tell you guys, Onika is just such a little spicy thing. Her and Michael have turned out to be the sassiest of the kitties. They like to pick at each other and then tell on each other to me. And we have this new cat that has shown up and decided that he's gonna be involved in whatever they're doing, I guess, and get fed to and stuff. And he is humongous. Like, not kidding, Gary's dog is a Queensland heeler, and this cat is bigger than his dog. Like, it, like, when it stands up, like, comes up to my knee, which is pretty fucking tall for a cat, and he's, like, this long. He's humongous. Like, I call him the horse cat, but he doesn't have very great social skills, and he's a very odd bird, and he sends... This morning, he tried to like run up the stairs like with the rest of them when I came out to feed them. Like, oh, I'm part of the crew now, except like the kids are like, we don't know if we accept you. And like he just got like a little close to Onika and she was like, bitch, and just goes whap and slaps him right across the face. So just like, don't even try it with me. Get the fuck out of my face. I don't know you. We named him Prince. The reason why we named him Prince is because Michael, who I definitely named after Michael Jackson, punked him, and then he tried to run away from him yesterday and tripped over his own feet. So it just reminded me of when Prince and Michael were trying to outdo themselves on stage to show off in front of James Brown, and Prince fell off the stage. So I was just like, well, here we go. That's your name. You're Prince now. He's cute. He's a very handsome guy. He's just very odd. And Onika is like, no, I'm not. And Michael too. Chance was like, who the fuck are you? Like this morning. Chance is my bodyguard. He like stands in front of me. That's the funny thing. Chance will let me pet him on a regular basis, but he will fuck somebody up behind me, and I love him for that. He's our tuxedo. What happened to the guy who jumped my car a few years ago? Oh, he moved out, like, probably just like a couple months after that happened. Half the condos in my complex are empty. You see people move out all the time. For like every 10 people that move out, maybe you see one person move in. So, oh, you guys have to watch it. It is hilarious. Prince was trying to show off because James Brown is like a huge inspiration for both Michael and Prince. And this was in the very early, I think, 80s that this happens. And it was a James Brown performance. Prince was in the audience, he was high as a fucking kite, and Michael set him up on purpose because he knew that he was out there high as a kite, and told James Brown to bring Prince on stage. Prince was trying so hard to show off, and there was like a pole thing right there, and he grabbed it to go swing around on it and didn't know it wasn't secure, and he just goes bloop off the stage. Apparently, like, Prince was really mad at Michael after that and said he set him up on purpose. And I guess Michael was like dying laughing. But it was very funny. And that's just what the two of them reminded me of yesterday, because Michael is also my attention hog out of the litter. He wants all the attention and will try to knock over Tori and Tyler to like get pets before them. And that's why he picks at Onika, because she'll come up and want to interact with me, and he gets jealous and tries to smack her around. So, but the two of them were both like, no, we're both gonna like punk this new cat. We don't know who the hell he is. So Michael is so petty. Prince has gone at him ever since. I think they were already like kind of beefing a little bit before that. So yes, I have been able to pet every single last one of the kittens. Stevie was the last holdout. So Michael, Tori, and Tyler are like the biggest lovers that want all the attentions all the time. And Onika, Chance, and Miles will let you pet them when they feel like it. And Miles just does that because he copies everything that Onika does. He's the little orange kitty. But and then Stevie was the shyest one out of all of them, and he now lets me pet him sometimes too. So, but Chance and Onika like to be close to you and talk to you and show off. So it's like they have their own ways of like having a relationship with you and interacting with you. So, but mind you guys, these are cats that their parents are like generations deep feral. So it's a big deal that I got them to like not be as feral as their parents and to let me pet them. And my goal for this year is to get, and y'all are gonna think I'm crazy, I want Asshole Cat to let me pet him. That's their dad. Well, now we call him Papa Cat, but we used to call him Asshole Cat. I want him, he is so fucking feral, but he's like not as scared of me anymore. Like I can stand there while he eats. So yesterday it was like, that's my goal this year. I'm gonna pet him next. Just because I was like, listen, I got all your kids to like me. You can like me too, because I feed you too and you be eating the food I give you. So like we're already halfway there. But anyways, guys, I have to go because I gotta call somebody in a few minutes, and I gotta make sure my kiddo is okay in the meantime. But I hope everybody had a good one. And in the meantime, guys, remember this is an 8-year, so we have lots of good energy that is on our side. So make sure that you are working with that. That 8 energy is so attached to, you know, our ancestors and wishes and fulfillment and karma. And remember, we can have good and bad karma. So make sure you guys are doing your work. Make sure you're building relationships with your ancestors. Make sure you're acknowledging them and expressing gratitude to them each day, and really working with this energy right now, because it's going to be so good for all of us, and we have this all year, so take advantage. So I love you guys all so much. If you want to join us on Patreon, patreon.com/psychicbellalove. You can also find me on Instagram.com/psychicbellalove. I don't reach out to anybody. I don't DM people. I'm not going to offer you a reading in your inbox. The only way that you can speak to me is through my website, psychicbellalove.com. So I will talk to everybody later. I hope you have a good one. Bye, guys.